Welcome back. And this time we're in Zambia. So our video starts in Lusaka, which is the capital. Then we head down to Chingola. But before we get to our destination, we go through the central province. The first town in the central province is Kabwe. Then we hit Kapiri Mposhi. Then we head into the Copperbelt. Of course, the first city to hit in the Copperbelt is Ndola. Then we run into Kitwe. And then we get to our final destination in Chingola. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Chingola. We're in the heart of the Copperbelt at the moment. And this is the road we're on is Kitwe Road. So this is the main road that leads into the city. As you can see, it's quite clean. I think in the early years, at its prime, Chingola was one of the cleanest places to live in Zambia. It housed a lot of mining executives. And for those who may not know, Chingola is a mining town. We mine copper and the majority of gemstones. Cobalt is one of them, I think. So, anyways, um, I think this was on a Sunday, so you can see there's like light traffic, but usually there's a semis going through the city, or because they're hauling the copper, either the concentrate or the actual ore itself. So, anyways, this is a popular place right here. The roundabout is like entrance to the city, right? So now, I think this was a different day here. I was driving in a neighborhood known as Riverside, and the name of that road specifically is Nile, like the River Nile. So this is, I want to say, a higher end of residential area. And the people that reside in this space or this plot of area is most of the people that are retired from the mines, or maybe they're contractors to the mines, or maybe they're like in banking or supporting industries to the mine. But it's usually on the higher end of the financial spectrum there. I mean, the streets are usually well manicured, and unless you run into like some construction sites or something, but usually it's well manicured. And another thing you may notice is that abundance of wall fences. So the thing is, it's a deterrence to like thieves, right? You don't want burglars to just walk in your space and take everything you've worked for your entire life. But that is a common thing in most African countries. We're now heading into downtown Chingola, and in Zambian terms, downtown is also known as the CBD. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of roundabouts, right? And growing up, that hotel to the left there is known as Nchanga Hotel. And I believe there used to be a post office around here, and the municipal council. So, anyways, this is a popular place right here. The roundabout is also known as the CBD. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of roundabouts, right? And growing up, that hotel to the left there is known as Nchanga Hotel. And I believe there used to be a post office around here, and the municipal council. So this street is not as busy. I think there's a little bit of commerce on this street, but not as heavy as the commerce traffic on Kwacha. So Kwacha Street is a street over to the left, and this is more like a through road. And on this road, that's where my school resides. So what you're looking at is Chingola Primary School, and right next to it is my school, Nakatinde Primary School. So I think this time, back then it used to be co-ed, but now it's turning into a girls' school. So it still looks clean. So the black you're looking at right now is primary black. So the very first classroom to which I'm walking to right now is where I was when I was in the first grade. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is where my academic path started. And then the classes cascade according to grade. So that was my first classroom for grade 1. And then the next classroom is grade 2. And it goes on until the end of this corridor here. At the very end of the corridor is the ablution block. So for those who may not know, I'm just a fancy way of saying it's the bathroom. And in the middle, you can see the building that's protruding a bit. That was the assembly hall. So in third grade, I was in art class. And you can see it's, I think when we were walking through, they were getting ready for the school year. So they were in the midst of doing some maintenance and updating. There's my wife. The very first classroom here, that's why I was in the 4th grade. I remember when I say Mrs. Mwandunga was my 4th grade teacher, super strict. So back there during break, that's where we used to go hang out and play. If I remember correctly, break time was like 10 minutes. So I think from 1st grade to 4th grade, I was in the morning session, meaning I was expected to be at school at 7 a.m. until 10. So now this block here, that's where the 8th graders and 9th graders were. So they looked so tall and big back then, possibly because I was so young. But so back then, the schooling system where like a school could run from 1st grade to 9th, and that type of school was known as a basic school. I don't know where the terminology came from, but that's what they called it. And as you can see there, that's an actual blackboard, not the site, just the actual blackboard and chalk. And as you can see there, there's some science classes there, I guess, looking at inner anatomy. So the person you see walking there is me. So I'm probably telling my wife what's what and where was what. So back there, when we were on break time, there used to be a tiny shop. In that shop, you'd go and buy your lunch and something to drink if you had the money. So in Zambian terms, British terms rather, that is known as a talk shop. You can see that little cream whitish yellowish building with a red roof. That's the talk shop. So back in the day, past that building, there used to be a swimming pool back there. And this is where I was in 5th grade. That's my big sister walking there. So you can see this one is not in good shape as well. But as I mentioned earlier, this is a time when they were getting ready for the school year, so they were doing some renovations. Back then, we used to have lockers, but now they're just on the floor. So then, walking down that paved pathway there leads you to the to the playground. But I think the grass has overgrown back there, and I didn't feel like walking into overgrown grass. So this is where I ended it. So I'm back into the corridor, and sixth grade I was in this classroom right here. I mean, it used to look so nice back then, but I guess it's been let go quite a bit. I remember this very well because my seventh grade teacher was very strict, Mr. Bunda. And that guy was one of the meanest teachers you've ever seen. But I guess we turned out all right thanks to him. And back then, there used to be a fish pond, and that's just the map of the Copperbelt. So there's a little fenced area. Anyways, I'll talk about it when we go the other way. But there used to be all types of fishes in there. So like where I'm pointing, that's where I sat in the seventh grade. So anyways, when we walked to the front of the offices, there was quite a bit of people enrolling. And I guess whoever was in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, those were the last intake of being a co-ed school. I think it's converting completely to like a all girls school. I mean, the front of it still looks good. It's pretty well manicured, and that's the administration block. So after we left the school, we kept driving. So this area is like a light industrial area, and it's known as Moisen. So this is where they used to make tires here at Dunlop, and they used to make other maybe industries supporting or complementary to the mines. But I don't think there's a lot of commerce happening here because it's pretty dry and it's like lifeless. But this used to be booming back in the early 2000s and late 1990s. There used to be a shop back there. They used to like repair freezers, like you'll pump Freon and make your fridge work again. So after we left, we drove through Chingola. Chingola is it's a suburb. It's a residential area, and it's mostly like people that work in the mines, supporting roles. Teachers, primary and secondary school teachers. People of that nature and in those professions. So it doesn't change much. Still looks quite about the same because I still remember walking down these streets, like going back and forth to school. There is a market. I don't know if I can call this a full-blown market, but it's maybe equivalent to like a plaza, maybe. Now this is a flea market. This is known as Chingola Market. This is one of the bigger markets in Chingola. And if you look into like buy vegetables, dried fish, secondhand clothing, this is your spot. Obviously, you can see there's quite a bit of people walking around. I mean, for me to walk around here, it's fine. But for a non-Zambian, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. Yeah, people are gonna sniff you, and anything you could have bought for $1 tends to be $5. So it's always good to be careful when you're in markets like this, because you do run into street kids. So technically homeless. So those people can be either on drugs, drunk, and can be belligerent, and can be quite dangerous. So if you do, for some reason, end up in this place and you're not Zambian, you probably want to have some guide, some form of a person that can guide you around, tell you where not to go and what not to do, and where not to go shopping. But overall, Zambians are pretty friendly people. But like anywhere else you go, you if you go there with bad intention, you're gonna run into bad people. But generally, Zambians are pretty friendly. So this place reminds me of Jamaica, like Kingston, and not quite Kingston, but there's a city we flew into. It's Montego Bay. Yeah, it's just like Jamaica, and I mean throughout the video you're gonna see the presence of China, the infusion of Chinese culture and commerce styles into the Zambian way of doing things. So we're heading back to Moisani. So what we did is we went around and double backed. You can see the buses. So those are well, not city buses. They're privately owned, but they serve as city for the city buses. So all these areas you see right now, these are residential areas on both sides of the street. So this area particularly was habitated by people that are like in maybe lower positions in the mines, like very supporting oriented roles in the mines, that is. So it can be quite dangerous here. So you wanna, like I said, if you're gonna tour with somebody. There used to be a river here. I'm sure the river still exists, but I think it's because this was the rain season, and you can barely see it. So back there in the horizon, that's the mines. I do believe we do drive closer to the mines, so we do mine copper there. So if you know anything about copper mining, it's we go underground, we dig up the mound and put it up into the mound like that, and then if there's small pieces of copper, they'll coagulate and form a bigger piece. And within time, there'll be quite a bit of copper in there, and then you harvest it from the mountain. So the area you're looking at now is known as the streets. I know it's part of Nchanga. So this area historically was built by the Brits during colonial rule. Because for those who may not know, Zambia got independent in 1964. But prior to that, this was inhabited by like mining execs, and it was pretty well put together. Like the streets were really manicured. There used to be pillars everywhere. Like there were only certain streets you can go through. Some of them were like in a cul-de-sac, so they had a dead end. But back then, the one common rule was that you could not put up a fence. That is a brick fence like that. So they allowed wire fences, because that with that you could see the inner beauty of the home, and you can see the well manicured lawns. But post independence and back in 1991, when our second president took charge, I believe he privatized everything. So that was the time that Zambia was kind of like going through a political change from being a pseudo communist to like a republic, to where everything was getting away from being under the rule of the government, or rather the controlling of the government, to private hands, private citizens. So that time was the first time when a Zambian could actually own a home. So after all these homes were sold off, people could do whatever with them, whatever they wanted to. So whereas before you could only put up a wire fence, now you could actually put a wall fence. But then that took away the beauty of it all, right? Because at that time, all the beauty, the architecture has been hidden behind all the security fences. I mean, you can see remnants of like beauty there, right? The streets are still manicured. like really aligned with the trees. So I mean, back then it used to be really, really gorgeous. So I think at this point we were driving towards town. So it's common in African society to like refer to the downtown as just town. Yeah, so like if you're in Chingola, you say, "Oh, I'm going to Chingola town," just means you're going to the downtown, or in Zambian terms, the CBD. Okay, so we're running into the roundabout again. So going further down the street, that's where the town center is. But I do believe I turned the other way here. But in my next video, I do spend quite a bit of time walking downtown. So keep an eye for that video too. I'll probably name it as Chingola Part 2. Slightly smaller neighborhood. Civic Center here. Think of it as a Secretary of State. And right next to it is a living complex, just a series of flats. This area is known as Chingola Central. So back then when I was young, all this area used to be vacant. All these were bushes. This street never used to exist. Now it's got houses everywhere. So once these streets are paved, this will be a very nice area here to live, because it's like right around the corner from the downtown Chingola, right? And the houses here, they range from like really nice homes to like not so nice homes. So the plots of land themselves are quite large. It just depends on the builder is. So when I say the builder, I mean the owner of the home. Yeah, because in Chingola, it's well, in most African countries, it's you hire a person that builds your house. You do not necessarily hire a company. Like I said, hiring a company is like a foreign sentiment. Anyways, you can see there's still buildings going up, kids playing around, and that's another thing though that you'll notice. Like in most Zambian cities, you see quite a lot of people outside. I mean, obviously the weather permits it, right? It's not like in Michigan where you can only be outside in 3 months out of the year. It's either it's raining or it's snowing, right? But well, back in Zambia, you're lucky if it's if it rains enough. But there's pros and cons to everything. The only thing I like about Michigan is you do appreciate the idea of having 4 seasons, whereas back in Zambia, those 4 seasons are only 2 seasons. It's either it's raining, or it's hot and wet. No such thing as winter. So this area here, it's like under construction. I think the idea there is to make that into like a very tiny plaza, like shops where people can go and like get like small things. Think of the idea of a bodega within the neighborhood there. And we're back on the road. So this time we're driving to a mine area. So it's known as mine area because a lot of like lower level employees in the mines used to live there. I mean, they still live there. It's either you're a miner or you're a teacher or a banker. Those are the main three sources of income in Chingola. So look at those skies though. It's clear sky, not too many clouds. And this time of the year is the rain season. So that is January, So this time when we visiting, this was in January. So I want to say the rain season is from late October to like uh, late January. Yeah, so you only get about 3 months of rain. So if it doesn't rain, I think you're in trouble. Because Zambia still, up to this day, concentrates heavily on hydropower electrification. So then if it doesn't rain enough, if the Zambezi is not full, then there will be a lot of electrical issues throughout the year. So that sounds like a simple problem there, right? So the question becomes, why don't we uh, sort other forms of electrical generation concepts, right? I mean, why don't we look into solar or nuclear? Well, Zambia is still a young country, and we're still looking into such things. So I think with time, those things will come around. So this is another smaller market, and this is in the mining area. I think we're in Tanshi. So this is like it's very poor. And it's like people here are support staff in the mines, and yeah, you can see presence of poverty there. But you know what? As one person may consider as being poor, they also look at it like, hey, these people are happy, right? They're content with the way they live life. Yeah, that tarmac is dying. So I like the views here. So as we keep going up the hill, we eventually get to a spot where you can actually see the entire mine. Well, not all of it, but most of it. Okay, so now you can see we're getting way up there. So Chingola is in a somewhat hilly place, and depending on where you are, you can actually see the city. So like this view from here, you can see we can see the entire mine in the horizon there. But anyways, we're back to the market, and I think after this we just started doubling back to where we came from. So anyways, if you like videos like this, keep an eye for the next one coming up. I have a second part of this video to where I'm just walking around Chingola downtown. And thanks for watching. See you soon.